It's morphin time. Pterodactyl. Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, and welcome to the It's Wrestling Time Impact Post Show. All right, so where do we even start? We had a lot to talk about. So tonight's episode kicked off with Laredo Kid versus Steve Macklin. And as we all know, if Steve Macklin won tonight's match, he would be inserted in the match against Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel, and it would become a triple threat match for the X Division title. Let me tell you something. This match was a banger. It did not disappoint. I will say that right now. Laredo Kid took it to Maclin very early on. I think one of my favorite spots was when Laredo Kid tried to take Maclin down on the outside, but he missed, and then Maclin quickly jumped back in and did a dive to take down Laredo Kid on the outside. That was amazing. There was a lot of back and forth in between this match. Of course, like I've always said, Steve Macklin picked up the victory because he is undefeated. He has not been pinned. He has not been submitted. So now it will be a triple threat match at Turning Point. I will also be doing my Turning Point predictions tonight, but more on that later. Okay, so after this, we get a backstage segment. Actually, no, we got a recap of BTI with Brian Mayers and Sam Beagle, basically with Mayers attacking Beagle from behind during a post-match assault, hitting him with a chair. And then Swan and Matt came to his aid. Poor Sam Beagle needed medical attention after this. And Swan tells Mayers that they don't do that there in Impact Wrestling. That what he did was despicable. And that's not what leaders do. And so at Turning Point, Swan challenged Brian Mayers to a match. And Willie Mack tells him to beat his ass. And will show him what a real man and a real leader, and how a real man and a real leader conducts his work. Personally, I like that Sam Beagle got back up in the form of Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Like, poor Sam needed backup after getting kicked out of the learning tree. I actually like Sam Beagle. So, all right. So then after this, we get a promo with Trey Miguel saying that it was supposed to be a one-on-one match between him and Laredo Kid. And at Bound for Glory, which I was there, by the way, Maclin couldn't even defeat him and wanted to blame ELP at Phantasmo for that. He says that all Maclin does is bitch and moan, and that at Turning Point, he's going to make it a point to beat Maclin and retain his title. So then we get a backstage segment with Ace Austin, and Gia Miller asks him if he's going to accept Chris Sabin's challenge. And Austin tells him that he thought his silence on the matter was spoken loud and clear. He says he doesn't see why he has to accept this challenge when he already beat Chris Sabin before. Then Chris Sabin shows up and tells him how ridiculous he looks with that title. I apologize for that. All right. So, like I said, I apologize for that. Chris Sabin shows up and says that Austin looks really ridiculous walking around in that shirt. And that as a former world champion, he tells Ace that he will never get there by cheating and by relying on big sons of bitches like Matt Fulton, and tells Austin to prove himself at Turning Point. And then Austin says that he doesn't need to prove himself to Sabin. And then a brawl breaks out. And for some reason, Fulton ends up locked in some type of cabinet or fridge thing, which I thought was pretty funny. But after this, we get the Undead Bridesmaids versus the IInspiration. I have to say, this match did what it was supposed to. I knew the IInspiration was going to win. One thing that I did like about this segment was that Jessie does her iconic pose, but instead of saying iconic because they're no longer the Iconics, she says inspiration. And, Kimberly ends up chasing Cassie around the ring. Brandy knocks Jessie down from the ring apron. Of course, the Inspiration have a beautiful teamwork and they win this match. And then what happens at the end? Lights go out of the match and Decay comes out. They surround the ring. You could see the fear in Jesse's face. And Havoc and Rosemary hold up the titles, basically sending a message to the Inspiration. A rematch that I know the Inspiration is going to win. Come on now. So then we had a lot of segments tonight. We always have a lot of segments in every episode of Impact Wrestling. So the next segment was Chelsea Green saying that when she first saw the Digital Media Championship, she knew she had to have it. And then when she wants something, she doesn't care who is standing in her way. She's going to get it. Then it turns to Matt Cardona, who says he came to Impact for the opportunities that he never got. And that he doesn't care who is champion at the end of Turning Point. He wants a title shot next because he's always ready. And guess who shows up? Morrissey shows up and says that Cardona isn't going to get a title shot because he's standing in his way. So at Turning Point, it's going to be Cardona versus Morrissey. Then after this, we get a backstage segment with Eddie Edwards. And he says it's been a long time coming and that he and Moose have history and that Moose has laid his hands on his wife. And then Moose attacks Eddie Edwards and they make all the way to the ramp. This segment turns into chaos. You got Eddie Edwards getting chokeslammed on the edge of the ring. And then Moose grabs a table and sets it up. You get a chair. Moosey puts a chair on Eddie Edwards' neck and sends him flying into the ring post. And then Moose grabs another chair and tries to hit Eddie Edwards with it, but he misses. And then Edwards grabs a chair and hits Moose with it. It was chaos everywhere, you guys. Chaos. Like, you need to see the segment if you don't know what I'm talking about. And then Edwards hit him with the knee guard and knocks Moose out. And Moose ends up lying on a table. Eddie Edwards grabs a ladder and sets it up in the ring. But of course, before he can make a jump, Moose gets up and leaves, and Edwards just stays on the ladder. And then we learn that at Turning Point, it's going to be a Full Metal Mayhem match. Moose versus Edwards, which I'm so looking forward to seeing. I wish I could have been there live for that, since I was supposed to be, but more on that later. So after this, we get a backstage promo with Mercedes Martinez, and she says that she and Mickie James have known each other for a long time, and that mutual respect goes out the window. And James says that she should have known better and not turn her back on Martinez. And then when it comes to the title, there are no friends. And then after this, we get Hikuleo versus Doc Gallows, with Doc Gallows immediately going after Hikuleo at the start of the match. Hikuleo recovered very quickly, and he took it to Doc Gallows. Of course, Bahh and ELP attempt a distraction. Gallows kicks ELP off the ring, and Hikuleo gives him a low blow. My favorite spot in this match was when they both clothesline each other twice, and they end up going down the second time. Then Hikuleo takes a big boot 3 times before going down. But of course, Anderson distracts the ref, Gallows with a thumb to the eye, and Doc Gallows ends up winning this match. So then after this, we get a Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywall segment. So I like how they're both wearing black, which signifies that they're in mourning. So Deonna says that she's been at home and at other places, and that not a person has a match every single week. And she's only there because she's obligated by contract. And that no one deserves anything from her. Not the Impact Faithfuls, Nadia Miller. And so she's a 2-time Knockouts champion, meaning that she lost the Knockouts title twice before. And that the only thing that she knows is that she's a virtuosa and has the ability to analyze her mistakes and correct them. And that everyone is just going to have to wait and see what her next move is. Personally, I really like this. I cannot wait for Deonna Purrazzo to come back. Because, like she said, she's a virtuosa. Then, oh my God, we got 2 segments. We got 2 more segments before we get into the 6-man tag. So after this, we get a Finchu segment. And this is, they both run down and say that Vegas hasn't been kind to them. and that they challenged for the tag titles and lost. And I apologize. I apologize for that. Where was I? Oh yeah, Vegas hasn't been kind to Finn Juice. That they challenged for the tag titles and lost, and then got a shot at being a number one contenders and lost. Finn says that he doesn't need to be reminded and that they were too obsessed with the Good Brothers and they forgot about Hikuleo and LLP, and that they've been way down at the bottom of the barrel, that they've lost and gotten their butts kicked before, and have even been the lowest on the New Japan roster. And then Scott D'Amore appears and says that Finn Juice has lost your focus and that they're going to face Decay. So then after this, we get a Violent by Design promo, which was, I thought the rivalry with Heath Slater and Reiner was over, but apparently it's not over yet. Because this said that he basically says that this is about freedom, basically, and choices that Rhino made. And that he's going to free Rhino from his sins and will build a monument of violence on their backs and their memories. And that at Turning Point, their rivalry is going to end forever. So I'm interested to see where that goes, honestly. So then after this, we get, I actually like this next match. We get a 6-man tag match. It's Johnny Swinger, Hernandez, and Fallah Bahh versus Decay and the Demon. Or should I say, the Swingman, Hernandez, and the Hammenegger Fallah Bahh. Oh my god. I like the opening of this match because you guys know Black Toros is a part of Decay, right? So, and you guys know that when you mess with the bull, you have to have that little red blanket. Tell me why Johnny Swinger grabbed Hernandez's red bandana and started swinging it around to Black Taurus twice. That segment had me cracking up. I was laughing. Johnny Swinger with the win. Oh my god, that was hilarious. It made me crack up. What did you guys think of that? I actually really liked that segment. All right. Of course, it wasn't meant to be because those Hammeneggers of Decay and the Demon defeated the Swingman, Hernandez, and Fallah Bahh. I was so sad that happened. But at the end of this, we get a backstage segment with Dino and the Swingman, and Dino tells him that the Swingman has bounced back from worse. And Johnny Swinger says that if this isn't rock bottom, he doesn't know what it is. And then Rosemary and Havoc appear, and Dino says that that Swinger helped him when he was down, and all he wants is for the Swingman to be happy like he was at Wrestle House. So that got me excited because when I started watching Impact last year, it was during the Wrestle House segments, which were really fun segments. So I'm actually really excited to see that again. All right. So then after this, we get a quick Jordan Grace segment, and she says that she respects Chelsea Green. But there is a reason why she was the first ever digital media champion, and she couldn't get it done then, and she won't get it done now. And then we get a Mickey James segment, and it says she should have known better and wants to thank Martinez for reminding her, and was excited that when Martinez first showed up in Impact because she thought she had a friend in arms, a comrade. She thought she was coming out to help a friend at Turning Point and won't make that same mistake again. And when it comes to Knockout title, there are no friends, and she better get ready for an original ass whooping. After this, in the main event, we got Josh Alexander versus Suzuki. Holy cow, this match. Like, where do I even start with this match? My only complaint about this match is that I wish it would have been longer. I wish it would have been as long as Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki, because this match would have probably topped it. Like, this was a really, really good match. I really liked it. And then, oh my god, I don't even know what to say about this. This was just really, really good, and I don't want to repeat myself. Josh Alexander with the victory here. I definitely would like to see a rematch between the two, that's for sure. So then at the end of this, Impact closes off with a segment between the Swingerellas, Johnny Swinger, Dino, Decay, Hernandez, and Caleb with the K. Basically, and then with Rosemary and Havoc, basically transporting them to Wrestle House 2 next week. So I'm super excited about that. Like I said, I started watching Impact Wrestling last year during the Wrestle House segments, and I really, really liked it. Well, that concludes the review. So if I'd have to rate tonight's Impact, I'd give it, you know what? I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Just a 4 out of 5 because it had really good matches. Even though I like the Inspiration, I have to admit their match against the Undead Brides was not the greatest match. It was, in my opinion, one of the weakest matches on tonight's card, unfortunately. I hate saying that because, like I said, I like the Inspiration. Apologies, I have ambulance. Again, I apologize. All right, so next I'm going to get into my turning point predictions. I'm actually pretty disappointed because I was supposed to be at Turning Point. I had my ticket, my hotel, but right now I am on a staycation, so I cannot go to Turning Point, unfortunately. But I'm still going to watch Turning Point. I know it's still going to be a good show, so I'm going to run down the card and give my predictions. All right. So Trey Miguel versus Laredo Kid versus Steve Macklin, a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Who do I think is going to win? As much as I would love for it to be Steve Macklin, I think Trey Miguel's winning, and he's gonna pin Laredo Kid to further hit the rivalry with Steve Macklin, because then Steve Macklin can say that Trey Miguel still hasn't beaten him. But that's just my take. I would hope Steve Macklin would win this, but I could see Trey Miguel retaining by pinning Laredo Kid and further extending his rivalry with Steve Macklin. The Inspiration versus Decay. Come on, the Inspiration. They just got there. There's no way they're losing those tag belts immediately. Mickie James versus Mercedes Martinez. Ooh, I'd say Mercedes Martinez. Just because I don't know what their plan with Mickie James is. I don't know if she's going to have a lengthy title reign or if she's just a transition. What do you guys think? I want to hear your predictions. Moose versus Eddie Edwards. Full Metal Mayhem match for the Impact World title. Oh, hello, Moose. The Good Brothers, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson versus Bullet Club in a tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. I have to pick the Bullet Club just because the Good Brothers have held those titles for so long. I thought they were going to lose them at Bound for Glory, but they didn't. So I'm just going to pick the Bullet Club, even though I think the Good Brothers might retain. I'm rooting for the Bullet Club of this. I think it's time the Good Brothers drop those tag titles. Heath and Rhino versus Violent by Design. Heath and Rhino, just because I think the rivalry is going to end. And if it's going to end, I think Heath and Rhino should walk away with the victory here. Ace Austin versus Chris Sabin. This is a tough one. I think Ace Austin's going to take it just because I think he wants to show Chris Sabin that he can do it without Fullerton. And also because I like Ace Austin. So I pick Ace Austin. Johnny Swinger versus the Demon. Oh my God. I like Johnny Swinger. I do. But there's, you know what? I'm just going to pick the Swing Man. Even because I don't want to root for that ham and egger demon. So, and then we got DK, Crazy Steve, and Black Taurus versus Hernandez and Fallah Bahh. I have to pick DK on that one. Rocky Romero versus Rohit Raju. I'm going to go with Rocky Romero. Rich Swann versus Brian Mayers. I think Rich Swann because he wants to avenge Sam Bugle. W. Morrissey versus Matt Cardona. That's a tough one to call. because I don't know in what direction they're gonna go with. I don't know if they're gonna go with W. Morrissey being the next contender or Matt Cardona, but I'm just gonna pick W. Morrissey for that. But what do you guys think? I would like to hear your predictions for Turning Point. That being said, that concludes tonight's show. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And again, like I keep saying every single time I do this, you guys gotta stop sleeping on Impact Wrestling. Impact is always delivers. It's never been a disappointing Impact. So definitely check out Impact. Again, I do wrestling and Power Rangers on this channel. So if you like what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'm out.